Greetings to Occultists Anonymous and our Mage the Awakening Chronicle Into the West. Welcome back.
Yo!
Glad to have you. Special shout out to all our supporters, patrons, everybody who helps spread the word of how amenable you are to witchcraft.
Yeah.
Tonight's episode is brought to you by Bad Decisions.
Bad decisions and friends going, you've made a bad decision. We're going to help you out now.
Yes.
Speaking of those good friends helping us with our bad decisions, thank you to our patrons, Adele, Alice, Aiden, Al, Alexander, Allstrid, BBL, Drizzy, Bernie, Buck, Chris, Doc, Emil, Ethan, Jeff, George, I'm the Real 06, James, Camo, Catfeathers, Klaus, Live Love Lesbian, Milo V3, Moku, Mozart, T Minor, Nexus, Nick. You all see how I pulled back from the mic to breathe? Other guy, Perry, Foog, Polka Dot, Hubris, Porter, Puppeteer, Riafio, Sean, Sheksara, Starfish, Terran, Terry D, Thomas, Verhex, Vincent, Vortex, and Zoltan. Thank you all so much for your support. And shout outs to Chocolate Rain. If you don't know what that is, I'm sorry that you are young and I am old. When we last left the coven, they were holding Catherine's hand.
In order to do it, you got to start taking extra breaths off the mic.
No,
go back to sing. No, okay, fine.
So yes, Catherine had dropped her teacup, though I believe somebody said it never hits the floor because I'm gonna grab it. I'm too fast.
And it's Theo's house. It would have been okay if it hit the floor. It would just bounce.
Very true.
Yeah.
And from Catherine's perspective, you all are still there. She is sitting in a comfortable chair, and everybody is reassuring her that everything is okay and everything's fine. And the tall man who speaks so mellifluously? What? Not
mellifluously?
Right, but
he does. It's like there's honey coming off of his tongue.
Sure.
Yeah.
Okay. I was like, is that the right? Yeah.
You can say that. Indeed, I think that's fine.
And begins telling her a story. She doesn't quite catch the plot of the story or the characters of the story, but it's calming and soothing. And she finds herself kind of drifting in, to quote Willy Wonka, a world of imagination. Her everything just kind of opens up and expands. She's in the cottage, in the nice little farmhouse that doesn't catch fire and is apparently immune to lightning bolts. Still got to test that. Yeah, I know.
It would be a contest.
Yeah, Clash of Wills. But also she is able to see out through the windows and see other stories flashing by, and Legba's voice basically becomes this kind of murmuring background of a story is being told, the fire is warm, it's comfortable, and then brigands break into the cottage. Classic piratical brigands, highwayman coats, straight out of storybooks. And she is swept into an adventure. Very classic literary, things that she's probably read, some of the stories that and the few novels that come into Purgatory Bluff that get passed around from household to household. And she is drawn into this, and she starts to see patterns in stories and recognizing, in our mind, literary devices, but things like people having destinies and titles, and this is the hero, this is the king, this is the mentor, everybody falling into roles and starting to see these things. And as some modern day English nerd is like, yes, these are all great references, but for her, it's just she's recognizing the nature of stories and the paths that they go on. And everything is kind of mystical and magical, and it's a trip, right? What's in the tea kind of scenario. And then suddenly there is a character that doesn't belong. While everything is bright
Mm.
and colorful and wonderful, suddenly she is facing Gisela Power.
Ooh.
I know you. I remember you as a it's been a few years, but yeah, I recognize you. And Gisela turns and is like, I know you too. And things kind of the for us, the mystery play pauses and stops. And there's it's wrong time period, but we hear the wheels of the film reel spinning, waiting for the next reel to go. Everything is kind of stuck in limbo. And Gisela's like, you're not who I expected to see. This is going to be very, very awkward. And then Rilla joins her out of nowhere. And it's like, okay, yeah, I remember both of you. And then there's another Rilla and another,
All right.
all looking very, very similar, twin sisters and Gisela, in various matching attire. There's one Gisela who looks like she has fought a bear and has won because she has scars, but she survived. And there's another Gisela who's done up quite well and in high fashion. And it's just like, okay, what is happening here as the mystery play fails to continue. And then yet another Rilla shows up, older and looking far more
Yes.
perturbed, and again appears out of nowhere in the middle of all of this and carrying what looks like a sword, but it for us it is the concept of a sword, not actually physically a sword. She just appears to have a weapon, like the supernal symbol of a weapon, being
Mhm.
chasing. And there is some commotion, and Catherine doesn't quite understand what she's happening. She's entirely a passenger, an audience member into something that is happening at another level she can't quite comprehend. And then Gisela grabs her hands and says, "Take this, you'll need it." And then they're all gone. And Catherine is left wondering, did that just happen? That felt like a dream. And then realizing that she's in a dream and stumbling forward, continuing on this mystery play. And she suffers several more interludes like this, but that one stands out among all the rest because that one put everything on hold for a second.
Mhm.
When she awakens, and she does awaken, and she does survive, and she makes her mark on the tower, which to her appears to be sitting down at a loom and finalizing the last bit of a tapestry and finishing her work on it. It's a long, really long tapestry. Actually, now that she looks at it, it goes up and up and on and out into the distance with different patterns and shapes and things styled into it. And she's added her little mark here at the end of it and gets up and walks away from it. And as she does, she rocks, nearly stepping off of the front porch of her home. And I imagine Theodosia catching her arm. Theodosia, from your perspective, it has been about 48 hours, maybe a little less. And fortunately, Catherine is fairly easy to contain within the home. What is problematic is the fact that when you go to catch your wife's arm and keep her from falling over, she has additional weight of a good, I don't know, maybe 40 pounds as
Whoa.
she stumbles and shifts and is suddenly, you have no, it came out of nowhere kind of thing, holding what appears to be a binder of stone tablets.
Yes.
Um, bunch of stone tablets carved and marked in. You can make a history check if you'd like, I guess, to see if you can recognize the manner of writing. And
It's ancient Assyrian.
uh,
It's the Epic of Gilgamesh, transcribed on
No.
stone.
it wouldn't be
joking.
Assyrian, but
I'm
no,
just-
actually.
History?
And huh?
History? Question mark.
Yes. Oh, academics. Sorry.
Just as we're in a pause here, like this is too good for Theo to resist of like doing a lot of scrutiny with all this was going on.
Oh yeah, I mean, your legacy is all about this. Yeah.
So she's been making it rain with the willpower.
Oh yeah, I have no doubt you've been watching very, very closely. I mean, how many mages can claim that they were there for 2 different awakenings?
Jeez.
Yep. From start to finish.
Right. As matter
Yes.
correction, Epic of Gilgamesh was recorded in Akkadian.
Mm-hmm.
I was transposing the languages.
Gosh, I can't believe you got that wrong.
I know, right? It's embarrassing.
Yes. Sorry. The tablets bound together with heavy, like old school, probably thumb thick rope, keeping them all kind of bound together. Yeah, Theo, you definitely don't recognize it. It definitely doesn't even look like. I think from her perspective, it doesn't look like writing in the nature of Latin Roman numerals. Well, wouldn't be Roman numerals. Those are Roman. Latin in terms of letters. Because it's Arabic numbers, Latin letters, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
No, it's Roman. It's Roman. The Roman alphabet, and it's Arabic numerals.
Okay. But for us at home, we recognize them as Sumerian. So old school lettering. But cuneiform, correct. But for Theo and your matter site, these appear freshly carved, like maybe at this point about a minute ago. Freshly carved. Like it has some nice clean edges along the carving.
No leathering, yeah.
Right, exactly. Pristine. And it doesn't have any other kind of magical effect radiating off of it. It is not an artifact or an imbued item. It is, however, a grimoire that Gisela must have passed along. Of course, Catherine, stumbling forward, gripping this thing to her chest like her life depends on it, and then is suddenly here, her eyes wide open, her active mage sight showing her Arcadia in all its splendor and terror, and twisting thorns and pathways, and is chock full of Numa. Theo, I have seen the most wonderful things.
He just exhausted. Theo just takes her into a hug and holds her tight.
We don't have time for that. I've got to go. And she straight up sounds like Alice in Wonderland's Little White Rabbit. Gotta go. There's things to do. And like leans into the hug, but her arms are holding this thing. I have to go. And she heads out.
Grabs her for a moment and holds her, get her to focus. You're about to have an experience. Make it a good one. And lets her go.
I'm having, yep, bye. And hurries up. Now, are you following her?
I think this part is for her. Like, he was 100% prepared to hear all about it later.
But Petrichor follows with Fate and Time Sight on just to see
Oh, we're all there? I thought it
Well,
was just Theo.
we will.
This has been 2 days.
Right. So that's
Oh,
exactly.
okay.
Yeah. So we're because like I said, perspective. So she starts to run off towards the fields, and we can put a pin in that for the moment. So yes, we step back a little bit. What have y'all been doing for damage control and or observation? Because I imagine Theo is not leaving her side and probably gets some help to always be awake. Yeah.
Yes.
What is
Yeah, that's an easy little spell. Here you go.
Yep.
And if there's a way to regenerate willpower, that would help too.
Yes.
Yeah, between the life and mind
Just
mages,
the
yeah,
life.
you got that covered. Yeah.
Yeah, either one would be fine, but
Mhm.
the life will get you. So yeah, like pretty much like that night when she started her mystery play, as soon as everyone was like, okay, we need to settle in, sort of thing, I think Isabel would have had the idea that like in the morning she'll invite Velosia to come stay with her and Jules, with the sort of premise that like, you know, your mom sort of disappeared for 2 weeks, and I'm willing to bet Catherine would like to talk to her about it.
Yep. Yeah, Theodosia is how old is she now? 16? 17?
I thought she's like 19.
Yeah, like 18, 19.
But she was like, oh yeah, because she was 7 when we started, and
Yep.
we went like 2 years, and then
Yeah, so
10.
she's right
Or
at
10,
18.
yeah.
Yep.
As far as like the scene of like talking to Velosia herself about it, is this very like fast and flirty sort of fast talk that you know, Isabel does not do as much anymore as the sheriff.
Mhm.
But and like Velosia probably is like was not old enough to see that side of her.
Mhm.
And so it's this like conspiratorial like, hey, so you know, Jules's birthday is pretty soon, and you know, I know I've heard that you're got someone you've been keeping an eye on, right?
Sort
And
of. Yeah.
yeah, so I thought if you want to come and we'll just give your mom some space to, you know, talk about how one of them disappeared for 2 weeks. And I thought maybe you and I could work on learning some new recipes and stuff.
Sure. I like that. Do you come from the like I'm a terrible cook, but I'm going to cook for Jules?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
It's just like I do want to be a wife sometimes.
Right. And yeah, and
Just
for
need a little
Velosia,
help.
right. And I think for Velosia, like the the awesome badass, sheriff and she needs my help. Oh yeah, doing stuff that I'm good with. Yeah. Let me show you some recipes. Because especially from both Jules and Isabel's perspective is like, well, we have our cultural foods, and Valosia's like, let me bust out mom's cookbook. Let's bust out the because tell me y'all don't have like the family cookbook, right? Yeah. And so she grabs that and she's like, cool, yeah. Things did seem tense this morning. They were just staring at each other this morning when I woke up. So yeah, I'm gonna get out of the house. Sure, that sounds like a good idea. I like that.
And it's like, the girls haven't seen you in a while and that kind of thing. So like,
That's true. Because Abigail will be bringing your girls back.
Yep.
What about Cloak?
Well, the first thing Legba is going to do is he's going to employ his 4th legacy attainment so that nobody in town can possibly enter or notice anything that is happening within an area the size of a giant house. So, assuming that Theo is going to try and prevent Catherine from going into danger by wandering off into the bloodthirsty purgatory, Cloak assumes it's safe that blocking off the house won't be impeding her awakening or mystery play. And so, thereby, with that legacy attainment, he doesn't have to worry about causing some problems for any of the townsfolk or involving himself in any more complicated machinations to make sure that everything is okay. And then there's something else he's going to be doing, but I'll pause there in case you want to move on from there.
Sure. And Helena's plans?
Helena's biggest concern really was kind of addressed by Isabel, which is like, okay, while this is going on, Theo's got her. We need to get the regular sleeper out.
Yep.
But you got that handled. Basically just mundane needs to Theo. It's like, do you need like food?
do the casserole deliveries, yeah.
Basically, yeah. While this is going on, I'm not meddling in any of it magically, but like, if you need anything like for your physical needs, I can see to you.
Gotcha. I like that. Do you leave the sword like under the porch just in case when Catherine is done, she's not really Catherine, or are you like, I'm leaving that for Theo to handle because this was her mistake?
That would definitely be on Theo.
Gotcha.
Fingers crossed. We're gonna hope this turns out well.
Mm-hmm.
I like
And
that.
if it doesn't, that's not my call.
Fair. Yeah.
Because this is your wife.
Yep. That's true. And so it's like, I'm here to help if you ask for it, but yeah. Yep.
Yeah,
Okay.
no, mostly I'm just trying to assess any needs you might have while Theo tries to observe what's happening and keep her safe.
Sure.
And just for Theo would not be able to articulate any sort of needs, but if food were to be dropped off or something, like anticipate what
yeah.
needs she might have, but she's totally focused. Yeah.
I fully do not expect that Theo is going to be capable of leaving Catherine alone long enough to like cook.
Right.
So yeah, I'm probably bringing you meals.
Little soup pot, little basket of some, bread. Yeah, I like that.
It will be on you to remember to eat it because she's not sticking around long enough to like feed you. But
it's like,
I'll bring you food.
I'm not going to be here at ground zero. Yeah. Yeah. Remember to eat. Hi, ADHD folks. How you feeling today? Yep. Jumping back over. What was Legba's other thing?
So he's going to have 2 days where he can navel gaze in a productive fashion. So the first thing he's going to do is an experiment with some spells he's been thinking about to aid in the search for the seers.
Mm-hmm.
So we're going to see Legba employ the services of physical dogs and astral dogs.
Sure.
So he's been thinking about this for a while. One of his obsessions is true connection, right? And the way he conceives of that is that connection through space, connection through fate, connection through mind, even connection through truth are all incomplete. But if you combine all of those arcana, it's possible that you might be able to produce something or learn something about someone that they might otherwise try and obscure. So he has a perfect memory and an experience and interaction with Sir Lucan, right?
Mm-hmm.
He doesn't know his real name. He doesn't know any other thing about him besides how he declared himself to be and what he looks like there, right?
Mm-hmm.
He also, however, can, for the purpose of this experiment, this thing he's been thinking about, he does know the real names of everybody in his coven. He knows their shadow names. He has connections to them. So he can play around with his experience trying to convert them between each other. So what he's been thinking about this whole time since he met Sir Lucan and has chosen to, according with his shadow name, never engage with the plantation again in the astral is, how can you track somebody down based on one part of the information that is usually important to find somebody? He's not trying to cast a spell on anybody yet, but he's like, okay, so what does sympathy allow you to do? If you're trying to cast a spell at a distance, why do you need to have some sympathetic yantra and a connection? Why is that necessary? In his mind, he's like, one of those should be sufficient. If you need both, it means that the connection is incomplete and the name is incomplete. If you need both of them, so is there a way to produce something that is both at the same time? And so he spends some time in the astral and simultaneously in the physical, trying to take his memories of members of the coven and converting them into something that would function as a combined sympathetic yantra and connection, to see if he can instantaneously produce this, right? Through a conjunctive use of mind, space, and prime. So he spends 2 days doing this. Can I convert my memory of somebody into a connection to them that allows me to touch them in an arcane way? And in the same way, can I convert an image of someone? Can I enhance, can I embellish that experience with them such that it is sufficient in intensity that it then becomes worthy of this, sufficient to accomplish this goal? And the reason why he would do this is what he's thinking is, I need some way to find these people. And usually they think they're safe if they've left very little traces.
Right.
But let's be honest. If you're a mage, if you're a will worker, there's got to be some way that stuff is important if there's any trace left. So if he can produce enough of an arcane scent for arcane hounds and physical hounds to send them on a quest to find these people, then no one in the coven has to do anything directly until they're found, and then we can jump on them.
I like that. Okay. Well, I really like that. We'll want to review it off screen.
Yes, of course.
But
Totally
yeah,
okay with me.
I like the idea of like, you know what? I got a little bit of time. Let's go hang out with the dogs and the dogs.
Yeah. What does it smell like to you? What does it smell like to you?
Go find the Goche of tracking. Okay. Yeah. I like that. Okay. Cool. So yeah, everybody's got their 48 hours of downtime, which especially after Ahibahu is well deserved. Yeah.
Useful.
And so we cut back to the brand new mage full of Numa and Theo going, all right, have fun. I think it may be appropriate that we have Sheriff Isabel coming by to check in because let's be honest, you've had Valosia at your house for 2 nights. Is it going to be 3? So you watch as Catherine runs off, holding something in her arms, running off into the dark farmlands. Well, darkening farmlands. It's probably getting towards sunset.
The first thing she does is just like with a quick improvised spell, just like wipes her hand over her face and has like big like owl eyes.
Cool.
So that she will not feel the need to have a light as she's tracking Catherine through the dark. And then she'll start following at a distance.
Okay.
And I will spend some mana to turn on fate and time.
Just to get it all. Yeah.
Just so you were, she is definitely not alone as she's going through. There's things watching over her.
Oh, no doubt. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, okay, that's an important thing to bring up. So, how visible are such things?
They're designed to be very inobtrusive,
like
keeping at a very long distance, right, to try and not trigger off.
Other way to say this: what are these things?
Oh, so there's probably a couple of scarecrows.
Okay,
and
so those. Okay,
that's heinous.
Yeah. So yeah, I mean, hi. Like I'm okay with the spooky things that are also friendly, but because she's taking off into the farmlands, but you watch her detour and she is heading towards the bridge. So we're not talking she's heading out into the wilderness. She's heading out and heading towards Purgatory Bluff. So the scarecrows will only be able to follow so far before Why is there a scarecrow
People
on the
start seeing
bridge?
'em.
Right, yeah. So, and I would, out of character, you can follow her. This is what us DMs call a story hook, Craig.
Okay.
I understand where Theo is coming from.
Done with
It's
the
like,
dangerous part.
yeah.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Yeah, Theo's idea was to let her have this experience and be able to relate it to her. Like, it's pretty obvious that this is an Acanthus sort of awakening.
Oh, the awakening is done, and now she
Yeah,
has
yeah.
something that needs to be done. So yes, for me, I was like, obviously, people would follow and help her.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, you're good. I understood where you were coming from. I was like, let's yeah. So yes, for Petrichor at this point,
Mhm.
owl eyes open, can easily follow. Sun is setting. It is soon to set.
I see.
Yeah. We are right at the liminal time
Great.
between
Ooh, yeah.
between daylight and nighttime. And she is full sprinting, which admittedly from Theo, your perspective, I didn't quite know she was this athletic. Because again, she is carrying 40 pounds of stone.
Yeah.
And she makes
Or maybe she did know.
that's true.
Hey.
Just did
Mhm.
Theo get a chance to see Petrichor, Isabel?
Oh yeah, I
or-
don't think Isabel is being
Okay,
sneaky or anything coming down the way to come visit you.
all right.
And-
Just, I guess if Isabel's going to immediately go and chase after it, Theo will just give a wave and head into the house.
Okay.
Okay.
I mean, to be fair, Theo has had a day,
True.
has had 2 days, and Isabel,
Several-
of
a
all
handful
the
of days.
people who can care for Catherine's physical body,
True.
it's Petrichor. Yep. The mind seems okay. Maybe. Okay.
We can check.
Yep.
Theo's
But
also
yes,
been doing like scrutiny for 48 hours, so
also true. Also
tired.
true. Yes, very, very tired. Petrichor, you follow, and truthfully, you guys have telepathy, so you can kind of keep track of things. Yeah, she crosses the bridge, heads up the pathway, passes the tavern, heads up towards the mines, passes the mines, and makes her way up to the top of, at this point now, a kind of worn out platform
Cool.
and flat surface that once held a telescope. Jules still
Yay.
comes up here occasionally to use his much smaller telescope, sits down and lays out the book, and then really becomes aware of where she is and what she's doing, and kind of looking around, unsure of herself, and looking down at the grimoire, the stone. She's touching it. And shout out to my ADHD friends again, though I think this happens to everybody. What was I doing in here? Why was there was something, and you can hear her, especially, you're following at a distance. You can hear her talking to herself. She's trying to. So I was talking to the caterpillar, and he told me
Yes.
I needed to come here, and then
Yes.
yep, and then
Yes.
and she, you can see her sitting there, like probably 2-day-old, clothes, and sitting and looking, and then looking up and just staring with, from your perspective, oh yeah, she's using that mage site probably for the first time,
Is
ever.
there anything to look at?
It's back. Yes, it's back.
There
It's
is
back.
a
Gotta look
weird
at it
star
again.
up there.
Gotta look at it again.
Not 10 years to the day or 11 years to the day or anything like that. But yes, by chance, by fate, it is
Woo.
up there.
We gotta look at it last time. Close, looking at it real close.
So
You got more Arcanum dots this time. Go take a
you
look at
also
that.
have a worse telescope. You have other.
I don't need a
magic to make it work.
telescope.
Yeah. You
I
have
don't
other
need a
magic.
telescope.
You
Yep.
just make
Yes.
one out of mana for crying out loud.
Master of space. There is no
Prime.
distance. Distance is a lie.
You have an area of the spell, though.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
Yep. But yes.
I mean, but this thing is so far away as well. A telescope
Sure.
in these times isn't really going to help you as much, right? They're seeing mass. I'm really just being enthusiastic about the magic.
And I mean,
Gotcha.
to be fair, as you all
Mhm.
discovered, it's not even a star. It's
Exactly. It's an
a
absence.
hole.
Yeah, it's an absence.
Yep. So she sits and she is staring up at this intently. And I think dramatically, right, we have that moment of Petrichor seeing this, and we have the flashback overlay scene of Catherine sitting squarely where the telescope had been sat, looking right up at it and staring intently, and her fingers are good.
You might not want to look that close.
And she looks at you, and it's
I
one of
don't
those.
I think I'm Petrichor right now.
Okay, perfect. Yeah, because I was going to say, I mean, other than probably largish eyes, right?
Yeah.
Unless you've
The
discussed
eyes are
this.
weird, but yeah.
Right. But yeah, she looks at you and she's like, Isabel,
Yeah.
you, and she can't. She hasn't turned the mage side off yet. She doesn't know how, right? And just kind of looking at you and like,
Right.
Yep. She's like, and she like pulls back. Oh.
Yeah.
And like looking around, thinking of what this place is, the fate senses that are here. She's like, oh, this place is.
Pick something juicy to come look at, huh?
I don't know what it was. I couldn't understand it.
What's the rocks?
Rocks?
The ones in your hands?
She looks down and like touches it, and just now is understanding that she's been carrying this, and she holds it up. Gisela gave it to me.
I'm sorry, what?
Gisela Bauer. She used to live here.
Yeah, she did.
Her and
Rilla?
Yeah. And Rilla.
This is
And Rilla.
okay.
And older Rilla.
Interesting.
Did you have a weird dream yesterday too?
No, not yesterday.
How did I get here?
You walked.
You sure?
Ran is more likely.
Okay, that explains why my legs hurt.
Yeah. Hey, I think you can say, well, first of all, I can say congratulations. Secondly, at least you woke up in town with clothes on.
Yep. What?
My dream was rather rougher than yours. In the desert in Mexico.
Oh, you didn't. So that.
I'm gonna guess that you can remember bits of maybe stories or something like that.
And storytellers and
Okay, good.
And
Good.
brigands and princesses and then Gisela and Rilla and an older Rilla.
That part is surprising. The other parts, we kind of. So, there'll be a lot to catch you up on.
So you know what's going on.
I do. And
Okay.
so does Theo.
Right. Oh my god, I gotta proceed. Picks
And-
this.
Let's just breathe for a second.
And then she is manually breathing because she has remembered, yes, this is a
She is
necessary...
ventilating.
Yeah. I'm sure that in the coming days there'll be a lot to learn because I remember what it was like for us when we all got started. Each of us separate but drawn to this place.
Like here?
Eventually, yes, right here where we're standing.
She kind of looks around. What's so special about here? Never mind the fact that she was just staring up at the absence in space.
Yeah, there's a big scary thing up there that we don't want to invite back. Yeah, we've been, well, we did our best to make sure that you had a good dream.
It was a weird dream, but it was good.
Yeah.
They finished the tapestry? That can't be right.
You added to it a tapestry? That's neat.
What did you do?
I signed my name on a rock of a spire of some sort of volcanic rock with the only ink I had with me.
And she innately is blood.
Yeah.
Wow. Unfortunately, we are too early for the "that's metal" comment, but yeah, there is an understanding of, okay, that's way more intense than...
There are, aside from the realm that you ventured through, there are 4 others. And we make a pentet?
Mhm.
Quartet? Pentet? Is that right?
Yes.
Quintet.
Quintet. Quintet.
Quintet.
Quintet if
There
you're
you
using
go.
quartet.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Pentad or quintet.
Yeah. Isabel would not know either of these words in English, but so it's perhaps fate, and she like says it with the big words that you have now joined, well, have the potential to join us. I want to stress that while you do know all of us as members of the town, there will be adjustments to learning who we are as mages and to who you will become as a mage. And experiencing that alongside your wife will be interesting and exciting and wonderful, but potentially intense.
She kind of nods slowly and picks up the book, holds it to her chest again. Okay. This place was important, but it's not important now.
I mean,
Mhm.
she like kind of glances up again.
Because you can see it. You
yeah.
you can see it.
Um, are the tablets shining with any magic?
I guess with Prime Sight, you would recognize them as grimoires.
Okay.
But yeah, they're not imbued or anything like that.
I don't have Prime Sight, so
Oh, excuse me. Yeah. So you're the one who doesn't. Yeah, life forces. No, none of them radiate anything specific. Time probably looks a little funny at them, because they look brand new, but they're also really old.
Oh.
Yeah. Like somebody snatched them out of not Babylon. Babylon Sumerian?
That's Babylonia.
Right, but if cuneiform, excuse me, would have been
Sumer was in like Iraq, right?
Khmer? Yeah.
yeah.
Between the
But
Tigers
yeah.
and the Kraties.
Yep. But yeah, regardless, yeah, it looks like somebody pulled this right out of, somebody just finishing it back then. Were we to carbon date it, it would appear, brand new.
True age.
Mm-hmm. Though I guess technically, is carbon dating only useful after 1945?
Radiocarbon dating
Radiocarbon dating, yeah.
Yeah, carbon isotopes decay within a time frame of a few thousand years. So it'd be there are techniques you can use. I think it's been long enough where you can use radiocarbon dating to do it.
But yeah, regardless, it is out of its time. It looks brand new. But yeah, so she gathers it up and kind of stands back up, and like now the adrenaline is off. Your peripheral mage sight turns off. Recognizing her active mage sight has turned off, and she's kind of blinking her eyes clear, and like a little sigh of relief. I need to see Theo. And like off she goes again, running back and forth. There will be, actually, Legba in the astral is picking up the. Did you all see Miss Moody running around at night? She was barefoot. Yep.
I just love the image of barefoot Catherine the Acanthus running around at midnight.
Yes, it's fantastic.
That's awesome.
Yep.
Yeah, Cloak would briefly pause and be like, I'm gonna wait. This is so interesting. and through telepathy, he would then take a deep breath and say, "The Theo, is there anything you should share with the group?"
Yeah, Theo, is there anything you should share with the group?
I know that you were there as soon as she ran off.
Yes.
She's done.
She's done.
She's headed your way.
She is properly baked.
I will prepare myself.
There's a note of emotion in Theo's voice when
she's headed home. She's doing well.
No
words, but there's like an emotional sense of huge relief.
There's Did you see the
tablets that came out of nowhere?
Yeah.
Apparently.
Tablets. What?
She had some tablets with some sort of runes on them. I didn't really know, but they were.
Join me. I want to read it. And then Legba takes a deep breath and says, "Forgive me."
Hold on.
Forgive me. Please continue.
The first place she ran was across the bridge, across town, out past the mine, and directly to the spot where we all looked into the telescope together.
The absence in the firmament?
It's there.
It's returned.
Helena goes, "The what?"
and then Cloak says, "Heartache." He says, "Heartache once again looms over purgatory."
That's a portent, but it doesn't really tell me much.
There is celestial absence, perhaps arcane as well, which has the aspect of heartache. It now looms here over Purgatory Bluff.
Last time we looked at it too close, and then some shit happened.
Mm.
Hold
Like,
on,
but
out
then
of
says-
character, am I
yeah.
remembering right? Where like we studied it, and then the like thing showed up in the mine, or were those two
No.
different things?
Those
The
are
thing,
unrelated.
the thing in the
Okay.
mine was always there.
Was always there.
Yeah,
But the
yeah, that
thing
was
in the
just a spirit in
stars,
mind.
when we scrutinized it, it became aware of us.
So
Right,
there was
right,
also
right.
some
Yeah.
challenging aspect of the scrutiny. I don't think we were all able to do that, right? I think it took an exceptional success with some space magic and actually for Cloak to be able to say it.
You were
To see
using
it,
mind specifically.
Mind,
You
okay,
picked
cool,
up
yeah, so
a
that's right.
pile of minds.
That's
and
right. That's what it
thoughts.
was. Yes, that's what it was. Yeah, that's right. Which had that aspect of it. So
Yeah, so Catherine runs back through town. About midway through town, she realizes that she probably is a bit of a sight, and slows to a walk. It's still not super dignified because, again, barefoot, and out after sunset. But I mean, town isn't, it's not like that's scandalous. It's just kind of odd that she's running around without shoes. And makes her way back down to the house. I keep wanting to come up with different terms for it. I don't know why. It's a house.
A homestead.
Yes, homestead is a
Yeah,
good one. Thank you.
so
And usually, weathered in Gothic looking, sort of
Yeah.
a couple days after they painted it, looks the same.
So another thing of narrative note, the reason why Cloak also said that to Theo is he would need to drop his legacy attainment. Otherwise, nobody could see the house
Oh, true.
because it's
Yep.
an incognito presence on a mansion size area. So
Mhm.
upon learning that she is now left, he drops it so that people can now visit the homestead again.
Very, very good point. uh, she makes her way back in,
House is
and
dark.
sure. Well, I'm sure you get the little fireplace.
Yeah, there's some embers burning or whatever.
And comes in and hands you the grimoire. She says, "This is important, I think."
Theo rises and just lets it fall to the ground and takes Catherine in a big hug and starts to sob, saying, "You came back."
You're messing things up. You were supposed to hold it, and then she was supposed to hug you and embrace you. Damn it! But that's fine.
Yeah.
Yes,
It was
either
just-
way, yes.
You came back.
So you're gonna break the tablets.
That's going to break the floor. It's a good thing she got a house, so that's not going to happen. 40
Yep.
pounds, dropping kettlebells all over the place.
But yes, you, the two of you embrace. Yeah, and I see where Theo was going with this. Of like, do you want to come back to me? Yeah.
Yeah, she had no idea.
Yep. No, I get that. Now, but yeah, she of course I was coming back. I just had to go up to that place, and then Isabel found me and told me it was important. And then I was like, oh yeah, important things. And I came back here, and that's important, and you're important. And where's Theodosia?
Isabel very kindly took her out of the path of what was going on here for a couple of days.
Okay. Am I
She
safe
might
to
have
be
seen or
around?
heard- Well, yes, now, but had she stayed here, she might have seen or heard things that would be difficult for her to understand.
She grins and blushes, and she's like, oh, what was I doing?
You had there's different types of awakenings. Yours was what we call a mystery play. So you were seeing things we couldn't see, having conversations we couldn't hear, running around the house a little frantically, but excitedly and energetically. And
Like,
then suddenly these tablets were in your hand, and you were done.
I don't think I'm done. I think I've just started. Yeah, I've just started.
Yes, you've taken the first steps into a larger world, but you've made that transition. You're a new person now, and you get to decide who you will be.
I don't feel different. Wait, no. No. Oh wow.
Turn it on. What do you see?
Oh no. I've good for a rest now, but no, I know. And she uses high speech.
High speech.
Right. And I know, gnosis. And she's like, yeah, I know. Okay. And like hearing herself say it, it starts to click. She's like, and she casts her first spell, which I'm not rolling. Just need to double check and
She's
make
got
sure.
Pneuma.
Right.
For days.
Well, that doesn't guarantee that the spell happens. It just handles the paradox.
Mhm.
And do. Done. Yeah. So she lays over herself a spell. You don't recognize it. For us, sitting back in the background, we recognize choose the thread. And she's just like, just realizing she doesn't know the right decision. She doesn't know where to go. And so she kind of, or rather, she knows what she needs to do. She doesn't know the right path. And so she's using this to choose the right way. And her Numa fades. Darn, y'all didn't have a chance to, yeah. But yes.
Gosh darn it.
Yep. Lays on a Craig, well, not from Craig's perspective. Well, yeah, Craig would recognize it because Theodosia has Prime. That's a big honkin' indefinite spell on herself.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Yep. She's
That's what
like
I'm
Jumping
talking
right
about.
to the deep end.
Commitment from the very beginning.
Yep. And yeah, so she has that until somebody pulls it off of her. It is just for mundane rolls. But yeah, she's just going to be really good at stuff for a while.
Fantastic. Roll them doubles. Oh
Yep.
yeah, she got advantage.
3 hours. I was trying to remember what ritual duration. You guys remember ritual duration for being a newbie?
Yes.
Yep. Way back when. Yeah, so every 3 hours she'll be particularly good. And she's like, okay, now I know. And like you feel the Numa fading. Mostly because I just wanted to address that narratively real quick, because inevitably somebody in the comments would be, you know what you guys could do? And I'm like, no.
Somebody in the comments?
Yeah. I mean, there's a reason Theo was talking about like all that sweet Numa. Oh, Numa is wasted on new mages.
We once again tread to a new dawn of humanity.
But to deceive.
And Ralph Legba was heading down to the homestead.
Yes.
Okay.
You just said there are stone tablets.
Oh yeah.
Legba doesn't know anything about him, hasn't seen him. I'm
Right.
just saying, he's like,
it's
stone,
tablets and it's got runes on them.
There's some runes, you say.
And they came out of the supernal.
Whoa.
Is Petrichor also headed that way? Just kind of more nonchalant, or Isabel?
There?
I wasn't sure if Isabel had followed down the mountain hill.
I think she thinks about looking up at the sky again for a few minutes, and then it's like, well,
okay,
it might still be there for a few days. So,
okay, I will tell you yes. Before the game flashes up, are you sure? Yeah, we're good. We can come back to this. What about Helena?
Yeah, she would have headed over to the house once she got the mental ping that she's awake.
Yep. So we have a nice few minutes with Theodosia and Catherine being themselves and having a moment to share some stuff in. From Catherine's perspective, there's a bunch of memories that are unlocked for her. Some of these
all
things,
the time. Oh,
Hidden
all the
achievements.
right? All the quiescence and stuff like that. The false memories fall away, and so there's some kind of quiet, like, I remember the time you were telling me about this. Like,
that just
you
releases
are,
another dam in Theo, and
Oh yeah, must.
yep.
Oh my gosh. Give a break.
So yeah, the two of you are able to share in that, and just kind of relax and be like, hey, like, one less thing between us as a happy married couple, right? One less thing, and then you have visitors, and just to jump the narrative along just a little bit, the five of you join together in the front room there with Theo and Catherine,
Mhm.
and the tablet.
Yes.
Grimoire.
So-
Go ahead.
Legba would ask Catherine first, of course. Ceremony is important, and he would say,
I
"Go ahead."
I forgot a very, very, very important thing on Catherine's character sheet.
Mhm.
Not only did she arrive with the grimoire, her hair is now shock white.
Whoa, cool.
She has striking looks one now.
Yeah, metamorphic awakening, baby, my favorite kind.
Yeah, she has seen some things, and unfortunately bumped into an archmage and a couple other mages in the process. Yeah, she had a rocky adventure, but she gets a grimoire out of it.
You know why there wasn't very much Numa there? Archmage Rilla was like, "I'll leave you with just one hit." I mean, you're not gonna
Just give me
that.
yep.
Give me, yeah, exactly.
Which actually, yes.
Of course.
Yeah.
We knew.
We
I
knew.
knew she would do it. Yeah.
We've been new.
Mhm.
Like she's keeping an eye on Purgatory Bluff. But yes, shock white hair. That was the other. I was like, there was something else about her running through town that was going to stand out. Ah, yes, shock white hair.
Now, once again, at least one member of the Stokes marriage has striking looks.
Very true. So yes, for y'all to know, yes, she has a grimoire. We will study what the words say. But spell wise, it has suppress life, fool's rush in, many faces, machine invisibility, cloak nimbus, and acceleration. I will give those to you all later. But yes, Gisela said you might need this. She also has astral adept. I already gave her Cabal theme, so we don't have to worry about that.
Yep.
And she will eventually have shadow name too. What's her shadow name? Well, you guys will have to find that out in the narrative.
That's right.
and Theo would stress that pretty early, like you're gonna want to pick a shadow name.
Yep.
Figure out who you're gonna be.
You're gonna tell Nicantha she has to come up with her role? Really?
Hard sell, huh?
Yeah. But yeah, so she sets the grimoire down. She is very possessive of it. Of note, the notes that she had written down and was making notes of things, those have also disappeared.
Of course.
With basically within her mystery play. Effectively, they were swapped out. And yeah, so she kind of is sitting there. Do you guys have a love seat? Is just sit in the same chair? What's the cozy situation there, Theo and Catherine?
No, there could absolutely be a love seat there, or
Yeah, okay.
if there could be one in a moment, if there isn't.
Come on. A sofa made by a Moros? You better believe it loves your behind when you sit down. Yeah.
Move
go
right
with
along.
Go
Do
with
not
it.
dig into
Go
that.
with it,
Happy
everybody.
Pride, everybody.
Yep.
Go with it, everybody.
Happy Pride.
No.
That's
Killed
fucking
Chris.
funny.
We are not talking about. Never mind. Moving right along. I'm really tempted to cut. I'm tempted to cut the punchline out and just have a bunch of us red-faced and laughing and just be like, "Y'all don't know what happened there," but no, we'll leave it. But yeah, so she has, she's sitting there with Theo, the grimoire on her and Theo's thighs, basically sitting there, and her hand on top of it.
I was going to say that grimoire is yours.
Yes.
Yes. No, like it's yours. If you choose to share it with us, that's fine, but it's entirely within your purview.
But no, it's mine. But Gisela said we would need it.
I'm just reinforcing that it's your decision to share it with us or not.
Yeah.
Okay.
This would be where Isabel's like, oh yeah, in case she didn't mention yet, she ran into Gisela and several Rillas during her awakening.
What?
I mean, I feel like I hate most of the Rillas. There's a couple that weren't too bad.
No, all
Just the
Pretty
one.
fine except one.
Yeah, Archmage one was the only one that was bad. The others were trying to stop the Archmage from meddling. So yes, the Rilla squad is on our side. They did take Gisela away, so I could understand a little bit of hurt feelings, but Gisela wasn't happy in Purgatory.
Gisela went.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
Wasn't taken away. Yep. Helena has strong opinions about Gisela leaving on her own. But yes, so she's like, no, it's the only thing that I can remember clearly was seeing them, and they didn't expect to see me, and then they handed me this, and then everything becomes a jumble again. So yeah, I'm going to take care of this. Go ahead.
Do you feel like they were expecting someone?
Don't think so. They seemed very surprised to see me there.
Okay.
And then Gisela suddenly said I would need it, and I didn't understand.
I mean,
Y'all know Gisela had hella foresight.
yeah. Arachne.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Well, summation of things to think about. 1, lots of things to talk about with you, Catherine.
Mm-hmm.
By all means, investigate and explore your newfound gifts. But you cannot do things around normal folks.
She nods, and she looks over at Theo,
You
and
might understand, right?
And she's like, "Yeah, that was so many things."
She remembers the things she lost and the breaking points.
Mm-hmm. Yep. And but she's like, yeah. So no, keeping it hidden from Valosia, and then looks at Isabel. Thank you. But
It's fine. I got a little personal benefit out of her hanging out, anyways. So,
so much food.
Just and
y'all's recipes are great.
Go ahead, Theo.
Yeah.
Craig.
And in the spirit of gratitude, I really want to thank all of you for helping me with these recent string of bad decisions.
I'm just glad everything turned out okay.
Catherine reaches over and pats your hand and says they weren't bad decisions, they were risky decisions.
Reckless.
Very
Dangerous.
risky decisions, very dangerous.
And she looks over and like is a little chagrined. She's like, okay, maybe that's a better way to put it.
Unwise. No decisions are bad or good. I believe
think
that valence is incorrect. I believe there are bad and good outcomes.
sure. I think probably 1 in 10,000 people, 1 in 10,000 versions of yourself might have made it through. You have the right sort of understanding of the world to think about things in those terms. And I have some experience with them. If you want to discuss them at further date, I'm happy to, though I'm nearly as much of a novice as you when it comes to fate. In fact, you might be more knowledgeable than me.
2-time, 1 fate.
I don't know that.
Right.
I don't
I'm
have
just
a character
informing
sheet
y'all.
read.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're just like, it's
Um,
possible that you're better at this than I am.
But as far as the other aspects of the world, of which the total number's 10, you will find that all of the other 8 are covered by this coven if you wish to join and be a part of it in time.
Or if you want to learn, we can teach.
And that is an important decision too. You don't necessarily have to be part of this collective. There's a certain binding that goes along with that.
She nods her head and like looks from all of you, and she's like, I now understand, and like looks at Theo that like I didn't understand.
You couldn't.
So I will think on this, and I will ask you all questions, and I thank you for your offers of teaching. I'm excited to learn whatever I can from all of you. But and kind of looks over at Legba and says, you said you could read this?
He smiles. You all see this is the biggest smile you've seen on him.
It's
And
fucking
I want to.
predatory, I bet.
Yes, yes. He cannot withhold. Yes, he says, I have spent a decade mastering the art of inscribing grimoires. I have attained the ability to read all languages when I wish it, for this precise purpose. And then he says first, this is a ceremonial occasion. So before I ask for the honor of seeing the contents of that which you have in your hands, I would ask you, what name would you have me call you by, now that you have awakened and signed your name on the watchtower?
Isabel straight up drops out of Petrichor, is like, damn, that's a fucking pressure to put on somebody.
She's like, Catherine's fine for now. I know.
It takes a bit usually.
Well, Legba understands that, but he's not looking for a shadow name necessarily. And he says, so be it. For now, I will call you Catherine. Catherine, may I read the contents of the grimoire you hold in your hands?
Please do. And she kind of sets it out onto, the obvious coffee table of which you are all sitting around. And you begin to read. And it is a ritual book that Jules would probably be quite pleased to have. This is an old school ritual guide. Hang on, something's a little weird here. And you read through, this is where you start to see that, yes, this is a grimoire. And there are bits in this that are high speech. Some of the cuneiform seems to stand out to you, and you recognize and see the patterns and language of rote, the ones I listed out to you all. But in the cuneiform, in Sumerian, it is a ritual that talks about a guardian or maybe a well, it's a construct of some form, some artificial thing that is made and is capable of speech and thinking, things like that. And it's a step both beyond and not quite to the same of an eidolon or a golem. And it's also something that, well, mundane humans, sorcerers, might attempt. And the idea is that you can, through various ritual rites and stuff like that I'm not going to detail out here, they are brutal and gruesome and artistic and creative in terms of like shaping of the figure in the construct's shell and body. Basically infuse it with a mind of sorts. Not for us, we would recognize it as AI, right? It is not really a person, but you're able to give it and teach it things and give it programming and guidance on what to do, as well as the shape that it would take and how it could be given direction, and then left to do its thing and the rituals necessary to reprogram it. It's a robot. We'll say for our purposes that you can give programming to and stuff like that in the ancient era. And yeah, it's suggests things like building it out of stone so it's robust. If you want some kind of temple guard, or making it out of wood if it were supposed to be lighter and more assistive, lots of stuff like that. But yeah, the the really like that's not okay side of the things necessary to make a mind. They are like sacrificial of humans, and it's like, wait, hang on, why would I not just have that person just assist me? This feels unnecessary. The pages in it they're cruel, right? In order to make this thing, the only reason one would do this is to make a thing that will do what it is told without question, right? Doesn't have human morals. And it would also live forever because it would just be a robot in a shell. So if you make it out of stone, there's not a lot that's going to do damage to it, especially ye olde, Sumeria. Yeah, go at it with pickaxes, but it's still a big hunkin' stone robot. So yeah, there is a probably somber moment of like, oh, this thing is not okay.
Legba says, this details the process of creating an eternal, undying slave.
Also a good way to put it.
Woof.
Is there any way to tell who wrote it?
Legba squints his eyes and thinks. And he says, perhaps. So he's going to cast an improvised spell of mind, space, and prime. And what the let's see, it is now he's kind of thinking it like unveiling. However, I recognize that technically this might be a mix of the practices in order to accomplish this. What he's attempting to do is take advantage of any tenuous remnants of any connection to the author via the truth of the words and the style of the writing to come up with some kind of representation that he could recognize, even if he doesn't know what it means. Does that make sense? Like,
Sure.
if there's some scent left behind in the page of this person, but he smells like grass or pine or something like that. But he doesn't know the word in Sumerian. You know, it wouldn't have any intrinsic contextual significance for him. But that's what he's trying to educe from the writings there.
Are you trying to find the author of the grimoire or the stone tablets?
Oh,
If that makes sense.
The ritual, the stone tablets, as a cognoscent, you know, he did get the merit, right? As an experienced writer of grimoires, he'd use a different spell in order to determine who wrote the grimoire.
Yeah.
Yes. So this would be some improvised spell that he's just thinking on the moment. How do you figure out the author of something from thousands of years ago?
Right. Yeah. No idea. I wasn't prepared for that. I will say it is not a name or semblance of a persona that you've heard of. Like this is some name out of history lost to history, right? You know,
but he does get something. Is that what you're saying? Like he does figure out who it is, but he has no idea who that is.
Correct.
Okay,
yeah.
perfect. Great.
Yeah, that is the classic. Aha! I'm going to pull the mask off. I have no idea who this is. Meme.
Yes.
For those of you who know it.
Okay. Yeah. For Helena, she was wondering, like, is this an ancient Sears plot or something like that? We can find evidence of, or some legacy, because you can move back and forth through time, right?
Yes, actually, when you bring that up, Legbug, you can definitely recognize there is here and there, now that it's been pointed out, there is some Iron Seal kind of shenanigans, especially within the tablet itself. It would not come up as seer because this predates the Seers of the Throne.
Yeah, so it's like the exarchs. Yeah,
the exarchal cults, I think. Yes. So this predates the Seers of the Throne. Back when other mages were like, "Hey, you guys are like a little bit over the top, but you're okay. We can still chit chat." It definitely has. And I mean, yes, as Ralph very, very put it, this makes an undying, everlasting slave. Exarchal stamp of approval. Yeah.
And the cruelty is just gravy.
Correct.
How do you beat some artificial consciousness into submission?
Nope.
You make them out of untold cruelty and slavery. So they are a consequence of that.
Yep. And then just to quickly touch on the cognoscent aspect of, hey, who's the author of the grimoire? Archmage Rilla.
I knew that going in.
You know what? This would be good paper for these notes. I'm not using this notebook. Here's this human skin vellum upon which I have drafted a love note to you.
Yep.
I mean, I didn't make the vellum. I'm just using it.
That's right. Have you ever written on vellum with a fountain pen? You fool.
So did Gisela and the Rillas rob her?
I hope not, because she's going to want it back.
Well,
imagine she would know where it is.
Cloak says she can't get it out of my own euros.
Well, now they'll fight anyway.
What?
There are ways to hide things in the astral.
Is it yours to hide?
No, this is hypothetical. I'm not claiming ownership over this.
Sure.
I think it's already been stated that I don't consider this my belonging at all.
Right.
Really referencing the notion of her trying to take it back. And that's anyway.
So we're kind of talking over your head here a little, Catherine.
Catherine nods. She's like, I'm getting every other word.
We have a relationship with some of the people that you had in your vision when you were awakening.
Well, yeah, I remember Gisela and Rilla.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But there's different versions of Rilla in a temporal sense, and one of them is really not nice.
Yeah, she seemed mad. She had a flaming sword
Everyone. Yeah.
cane thing.
Is that new?
I don't know what it was. All weapons.
A weapon. Yeah.
It was a
Like-
supernal weapon.
She just says weapon.
Yep.
Interesting.
Hmm.
She was wielding it, and she actually looks over to Theo, and she's like,
Isabel suddenly just has her guns in her hands, like, Hmm.
she looks over to Theo. She's like, she was wielding it the way we wheel, the slipper. Which I guess I will add. Archmage Rilla was chasing Gisela and Rilla, but it was not a. She was using a weapon, and there was a threat, but it was not clearly like this was a chase, not Archmage going, "You're all dead."
Hmm.
Right. So there is some aspect that we haven't touched on and probably won't, but yes, there is a cat and mouse game to it all that Kisa has been swept into. It's Archmage Rilla is still not a good person, not on anybody's side for that matter. But yes, just to quickly put a pin in the we have to go rescue Gisela. Nah.
Yeah, no.
Nope.
Not getting involved with that lady ever again. But yes, I was like, what can I do about Catherine's awakening? I know! Cameos! But yeah, so I imagine you guys catch Helena and Catherine up on, there was this thing and this relationship, and it was weird, and technically I guess we are all here based on an Archmage's wishes. I don't know how much you all relate, but some of it.
Yeah. I mean, Isabel loves to tell a story.
True. And then Catherine kind of takes the tablets back and sets it on her lap, and there is a new possessive aspect to it, in not just a this is mine, but also the things people could do with this would they to learn it. And I will also point out for those following along at home, yes, this thing was stolen out of time, so the Exarcho cults never had it. Just to
that's nice.
Yeah, right. I was like, Archmage Rilla, not a good person, but kept the Seers from having this thing.
Well, sometimes accidentally does good things without realizing it.
Yep.
I mean, I don't
She
even
might
know
did it
if
on purpose.
they would be classified as good things. It's what she wanted to do.
Yes.
Yeah.
It just ended up having a beneficial side effect.
It was good for other people too, but
Yep.
she did it because she wanted to.
It'd be like that.
Yep. So with that, I think we shift into Catherine asking fundamental questions about being a mage, talking about mage sight and her peripheral mage sight, which probably just kind of hums when she's at home now.
Uh-huh.
Sorry about that.
And Helena probably gives a lot of detail on the Diamond Order and probably some of what the Seers are. Not, and I imagine from Helena's perspective, probably a lot of just the facts, ma'am, kind of stuff, because you're kind of withdrawn. It's like, okay, the Diamond Order is better than the Seers, but I'm not a huge fan of them anymore. Yeah.
It did threaten to have me killed if I kept sticking my nose in places it shouldn't be.
Yep.
I mean, that's just we all have that within 6 months of awakening. It's fine.
I mean,
Sort of
I
how it
was
goes.
threatened to kill you.
Yeah.
On most axes, they are objectively better than the Seers, but they're
Objectively better, not necessarily good, especially in this day
still,
and
they're
age,
still
Yes.
still dicks.
It can be very useful. You can work with them. They have networks, information, massive libraries,
massive libraries catches her attention. You know, the daemon of a headmistress, and then she awakens and comes out with a book. Yeah.
But yeah,
And
they have a lot of strictures and ways of doing things and their own politics.
true. And then as like things are kind of settling down and relaxing, and I think there's actually a nice moment where the five of you are just like, we're mages, five elder siblings assisting, you know, the newest, having tea. Valosia comes in and like sees the five of you chatting because, you know, like Petrichor isn't wearing the face paint. You know,
Right.
it's just like just the five of you sitting and talking. And she goes to bed. Um, and you know, it's kind of nice. And then as things are really moving in towards the evening, um, and you know, sun is good and properly set, and people should start heading home soon. Um, like, and people are making their way towards the door, right? That kind of end of conversation. We'll see you on Sunday, you know, all that kind of stuff. Catherine turns and looks at Theo. So which one of them is going to take me to that place where you slept for only one day?
Um, I don't know that it necessarily would happen, but the gateway to that place would be through Isabel.
I see. Isabel, can I walk you home?
Sure.
We put a pin there. As yeah, Catherine is just like, no, like I don't have. Theodosia doesn't have to take me there now. You
I
though,
remember you told me that.
yeah. You, however, you're gonna take me because I still want to see. I want to know what this place is, and a lot of it as you walk with her is a lot of curiosity. What is that place?
Are you assuming we walk?
That's true. Yeah. Okay. I can show you. And don't get us
Really took her out
dancing.
with some wings.
Yep. Oh yeah, I
You've
don't
been
know
a
what.
mage all of 6 hours. Here, we're gonna sprout some bird wings, and you're just gonna know how to use them.
Yep. And she just barks them life arcana beats. Yep. Cool. So yeah, that's where we'll end the episode. Thank you all for joining us. Welcome Catherine to the squad. We have this habit of making acanthus NPCs, I'm noticing. Yep. But
This is
yeah.
we shit.
No, that's
Okay.
that's fair.
This one actually was us.
Yeah. But yeah. Thank you all for joining us. If you want to chat with us about this episode or past episodes, come by Discord, www.yeetinto.space. And if you want to support us monetarily, that's Patreon or staylucky.club. Come swing by there. Also, we haven't mentioned it in a while, and it's cool if you don't care, but we do have like OA merch, and we got. Oh, nice, Chris! You got the memo. Thank you. It comes in a variety of colors, and they're not all just like dorkily branded. Amenable to witchcraft doesn't have any of our logo stuff on it. You can just tell people that you're amenable to witchcraft. It's
There's
very
also
cute.
just the very cool wagon wheel with the skull in front of
Morgana
it with the ram skull.
We got some cool stuff up there. And that's
Got brain spiders.
We do have the brain spider stickers and mug.
They're so cute.
It's
I have the
very
little
good.
button.
Yeah, they're great. So yeah, if you want to do that stuff, that doesn't really support us monetarily. It's just cool stuff for y'all to have. So you know, enjoy that. Otherwise, we will see you next week. Bye.
See you soon.